If you're struggling with taking on other people's burdens way too much, doing way too much for others, struggling with boundaries, struggling with when to say no, when to help, and when not to, this might be for you. So I had a former manager, former team leader at somewhere I used to work years ago, who used to always say to me, you know what, Consuela, I love that you want to help, but everyone has a right to their own responsibility. This is a direct translation from Dutch, by the way. But she said everyone has a right to their own responsibility. And I remember when she used to say that, it really it encouraged me and it helped me a lot because I really thought, oh wow, that's true. I have a right to my responsibility and so does everyone else. But I was just thinking, I was just reading in the book of James and I read something that made me go, oh wow, this is actually biblical foundation for what she said. And I'm going to tell you what it is. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 2 to 4, says this. It talks about the testing of your faith. It says, count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Essentially, what the Bible is saying here is when you face trials, when you face difficulties, it produces something in you. The testing of your faith produces a steadfastness. And when you let that steadfastness have its full effect, let it do what it needs to do, it will create perfection and completion, lacking in nothing. So when my manager used to say everyone has a right to their own responsibility, I'm now thinking that's biblical. Because if we are too quick to take people's burdens from them, now mind you, I'm not talking about loving your neighbor. I'm not talking about serving a reasonable amount. But if you're always taking on the weight of the world, if you're always taking on the burdens of other people without them even having to try to do things for themselves, if you're always taking away obstacles from people in your life that you probably love or care about, then you are also taking away their opportunity to be tested in their faith, to produce steadfastness, to let that steadfastness have its full effect so that they may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. You are also taking away their opportunity to be crushed so that that oil can come out of them, to be crushed so that their true purpose can come out of them. When I started thinking about it like that, that really blessed me. That really blessed me. It helps me to establish more boundaries. And it also helps me to, before I try to help someone, and now, mind you, I'm talking about a pattern, right? A pattern of helplessness. If I'm always rescuing, if I'm always finding myself getting someone out of a bind, right? I try to now with that person before I reach out to help, before I like out of reflex try to help, I take it to the Lord and I ask him, Lord, if I do this, if I keep helping them out with the same thing, am I taking away an opportunity for them to grow in that steadfastness? Am I taking away an opportunity for them to develop in maturity, in spiritual maturity? Do you still want me to do this? Because you've called me to love my neighbor. You've called me to be present. You've called me to serve. You've called me to lend a hand. You've called me to mourn with those who mourn, to rejoice with those who rejoice. You've called me to my neighbor. But tell me if this is a healthy kind of help, or if with my helping, I am actually doing quite the opposite and keeping them from the growth that they need so very much, and the steadfastness that you want to develop within them so very much. I think that's wisdom. I think that's wisdom.